All right, it's been way too long. Today we are going to be going over my 1998 Toyota Land Cruiser Prado. It is wrapped in snow camo, which you don't see, especially in beautiful Florida. Couple things about this truck. I bought it. It did have a lift already on it, but I did change the lift out to from an old man Emu, which was pretty harsh, to a Dobinson's. Had the wrap done. Came out pretty good. I'm a big fan of the JDM yellow. These are just Laminex covers on some glass Kyoto factory headlights. I did some aux beams just for some alternative night lighting, and I did install the side steps just because it's easier to get in being lifted. So this truck has approximately 62,000 miles. I did do a Sony XAV 9500 head unit. It's a little big for this fitting, but I like my screens. I do have the altimeter, barometer, temperature, and bearing compass. I covered the factory seats with these Wetticoal seat covers, perfectly preserving them underneath. They're like new underneath. The door cards are in great shape, as you can see. You know, the only mar on the plastic is this little piece, which I tried to solve. I may get to that later. But I'm always fascinated by how great all the plastic looks in here. Now these are surprisingly spacious. Pardon my mess. All kinds of stuff in here. Once you get back here, you'll see that the Shorty's outside appearance make it look small, but once you get in here, it's actually quite roomy. You can fit two full-size adults in here pretty comfortably. These do have the barn door. Again, you can't help but notice how quality all the plastic is. Everything. There's just, I mean, I got a little sagging here. This door card looks great. I have two 15-inch JL audio subs and a JL box, and I've got about 1,000 amps of power. I don't know if you can see them back there. The underside is as clean as the top side. I do have an adjustable panhard, as well as some opt-off-road adjustable control upper and lower arms for the rear. Helped set the pinion angle correct. The Prado shares a frame of its own. It's basically the medium-duty frame of the Land Cruiser, and the rear axle is actually the same as 80 series Land Cruiser, as well as Sequoia and GX 470. So it's got kind of a mix in the rear of various parts, all in really good shape. The Dobinson IMS just does such a good job with this short wheelbase. Gives it, I don't know if you can see him in there, probably not, but it does a really good job. I did SPC upper control arms, OEM lower control arms. There you can get a good picture of what those look like. Did this heavy duty 1/4-inch it's actually steel, excuse me. This thing is so heavy, it's so overbuilt, just to protect everything. You know, my angle on my CVs is not bad. I've gone through pretty much every bushing on this thing. It drives as good as you can get for a, 27, almost 28-year-old vehicle. It is as good as new. You can see how new those lower control or lower ball joints are, which is always a big issue for these trucks. You gotta watch them. You gotta stay on them, especially as they get mileage. But if you replace them regularly, you're good to go. There's no issues. So good stuff. This does have the factory front bull bar. Now, I mean, calling it a bull bar, it's more like a donkey bar because this thing's made out of plastic. It looks cool. It's got all the JDM goodness you want. I did have the wrap done on the inside. Normally that's chrome, which I'm just not a fan of chrome, especially on these older trucks. It's not a Lexus. But you can see the quality of the wrap is good. I think this is an Avery wrap. And as you'll see, no wrap is ever perfect. I've got my phone mount here. This has the retractable mirrors, which is nice. But this is an RX, so it doesn't have all the creature comforts that some of the others do. You can see that's where the lights are. Everything's just in such good shape. I did have to do the shifter bushings. Something I did which was so needed. This truck has power locks and there is central locking, but a company in Australia that I'll post up has a plug and play option that you can now have remote locks. So cool, so cool. You know, these trucks even had the auto up down for windows on at least the driver's side. The classic 98 Realm steering wheel. You know, I've got my, I didn't go crazy with the patches. I've had them on multiple vehicles, so I wanted to keep them. I did do the upgraded RZ center console, so that was a much needed addition because the stock one came down to like right here. It does have the drink holder, which is pretty worthless by the size of our cups today. So this car is equipped with the 2.7 liter 4-cylinder straight 4. I did do the spiker lift. I got sick of having the prop rod. I'm not a fan of it. This engine runs phenomenally. I have replaced the radiator. I have replaced the power steering pump. I have gone through everything that needed to go through on this truck, and it runs perfectly. It's perfectly tuned. I love this thing. It just drives so nice. You know, die-hard batteries go. But, you know, everything's just very clean. I'd love to clean it more, but, you know, it is what it is. Everything's good. I can see if there's ever a leak in here. You can kind of see it does have an ABS pump, so good stuff. It's funny, you don't notice that the brake booster is on the right-hand drive, so that's indicative of being a right-hand drive, obviously. So, you know, I know there's the 3.4 liter option as well as the diesel option. I'm imagining they're fun. I have had a 3.4 liter in my 4Runners previously. It's a great engine, but it's thirsty. This one does okay. I get about 14-15 miles per gallon being lifted, probably around 2.5 inches. Cool thing about these old cars, there is no need to put your foot on the brake to start them. I have changed the lighting in here. I change it. It's so easy to do. I adjust them regularly. I've got some different colors there for the lower speeds. You can see the head unit is just a great head unit. It sounds so good in here. It's like the perfect sound stage. You know, we've got things like CarPlay, Spotify. You've got your phone people in there, so it's a great piece. I'm at Fred Howard Park in Tarpon Springs, Florida. Cool thing about these trucks, they have auto AC, and it works phenomenal. It's got that classic Toyota freezing cold AC. So let's take a ride out to the beach. I come to this park regularly. Let me turn that down so we don't get a copyright. And this beach is amazing. It's got a great causeway. I take the dogs out here on the golf cart a lot. They love it. I love it. It's great to get some fresh sea air. It does get busy, so if you're planning on coming out here, you're going to want to get here early. They will close the beach if it gets to a certain size. I play with the settings on the multimeter. I tried to install a colored multimeter in this truck, and I think due to it being an RX, it didn't allow me to get the color one because that was a 2000 and up model, so some of the pinouts were not as good as, or they didn't match up basically, so I kept having power surging issues and it would blow the fuse. So I stuck with the original, which is fine. I mean, I'm fine with it. I just thought the color would be cool. You can see all of every bit of plastic in this thing. There's no fading. The only bit of fading is like on this little doorknob, but that's it. You know, the 4-cylinder drives fantastic. There's literally no issues with it whatsoever. I mean, would I like more power? Sure, I think who wouldn't want more power? But what I feel like is this is adequate for this truck. Now, this isn't a light truck by any means. It's somewhere around 4,000 pounds, but it's just a little tank. There's a beautiful Fred Howard Causeway. This stuff has the factory rain guards. I don't know if you can see them. They look clear. Grab handles galore. Grab handles galore. So you can get in, get out, do what you need to do. I did do a resonator out of a Dodge Challenger, believe it or not. That's what the exhaust guys had. Because I wanted a little more sound out of this. I know what these 4-cylinders can sound like with the wrong exhaust. And I wanted it to breathe a little better so it's a little more free-flowing as well. Love this area. We boat out here a lot, and it's just a great spot. When it gets windy, you'll see the kite surfers come out here. There's one over there, actually. Got hit pretty hard from Hurricane Helene. As did a lot of people in this area. There was a lot of flooding, but they're pretty much back now. I think they've got all the facilities up and running, and they did a great job bringing it back. You know, it was a mess. It's a very popular beach. It's a good little in-between. You don't have to go all the way down to Clearwater. Relatively uncrowded for the most part, although during tourist season and summer you'll find that it does get a little crowded. You can often see dolphin, turtle, sharks, everything out here. This is a nice little flats area. If you're a fisherman, there's fantastic fishing here. Snook, redfish, tarpon. there is a hole right off this bridge right here that goes into the aquifer, actually. It gets very deep, and you wouldn't notice it looking at it, but a lot of people have dove that before. I'm not sure if the microphone picks up, but it has a nice little rumble. It doesn't sound obnoxious. It doesn't sound like a Honda Civic with a fart can. I think you hear it more inside the car than outside as much. Which I'm kind of old school. I like to hear my engines. I just, something about a silent exhaust that just doesn't work for me. From a performance aspect, it's negligible. It's nothing. I mean, if anything, something you wouldn't even feel. But that's how it is. Make it yours. All right, I'm going to shut up and just drive you around beautiful Tarpon Springs. Park has an active gopher tortoise population, and if you get in here to see them, it's a nice treat. They're cool. See, you can see that side. You just have to remind the tourists that they are not meant for water. Just leave them be. They're smart enough to figure out where they need to be. Except maybe out of a road. You know, one of the big differences is your turn signal on the right-hand drive is on the right side. And your washer is on the left. So it takes some getting used to. Like, what I often find is when I go back to a left-hand drive car and get back in this, let's just do a reset, kind of look around, look at your controls, and make sure you're set up. Seatbelt is on this side, obviously. So Tarpon Springs is actually the second largest Greek population outside of Greece, which is a little known fact. Personally, I've been in this town for over 40 years. Love this place. It's still in the Tampa Bay area, one of the more small town, kind of North Pinellas County gems. I've lived in pretty much every city in this county except St. Pete, and I just prefer the North County. It's more my speed. right down from Fred Howard, there is another little beach up here, just up the road, and that is Sunset Beach. So what'll often happen is, they'll spill over into each other as there's things going on. And that is right down this road. High, which is my alma mater. Great sports programs and a phenomenal band program. They are consistently ranked top in the country. Sponger Field, home of the Spongers. So this car has a 4-speed transmission, does not have a 5-speed. It could definitely use that 5th gear. I find on the highway it'll cruise happily at 70, 75. I don't like to push it any more than that. Being the short wheelbase, you get into anywhere near 80 miles an hour, and it's not downright scary, but it's definitely something you want to not do for any long period of time. It's okay in brief spurts, but you're going to want to keep it in that 70 range. It really is happiest at like between 70 and 75. The RPM's roughly 2,500, 2,700 RPMs, and that's with the bigger tires. I'm sure in stock form they do even better, but being lifted definitely changes the dynamic. I don't recommend lifting these to crazy heights and putting big tires on. It's just not what the platform's designed to do. And that, I've owned a lot of Toyotas, and lifting any Toyota above 2.5 inches, you just end up with a whole lot of drivability that you have to address, and it just becomes a very expensive endeavor. And I feel like, in a way, it takes away from the simplicity of what Toyota four-wheel drive trucks were meant to be. So as you can hear, this it's a smooth ride, but it's not a luxury ride. You're riding in a body-on-frame, short wheelbase truck, and you feel it. You'll feel bumps in the road. You'll feel modulations where, there's some pitting and things in the roadway. I feel like this truck, even with a perfectly smooth road, you would still feel some movement. It's a very active driving experience. Unlike the Lexus, where you kind of get in and shut the world out. Alright, so I appreciate you spending some time with me today. I'm gonna promise to get more videos out. We'll dig in more on the Prado. There's all kinds of stuff coming. I have a new dome light coming that I'll do an install on, just to make it nice and bright in here. But I appreciate everyone subscribing and following along. Thank you.